So, is America a Christian nation? Apparently, that's the question of the day. Unfortunately, I don't like the way the question's posed. Because what do you mean by a Christian nation? Do you mean like the majority of the population is Christian? I would imagine there's probably a numerical argument to say that that's true based on people self-identifying as Christian but not actually being Christian. Like the Christmas, they go to church on Christmas and Easter and that's it. Or the televangelist crews or the megachurch crews, really not Christian in the biblical sense. So I guess if you count people who self-identify that way, sure, but yeah. Or are you talking about the founders, the founding fathers? And which founding fathers? Because when the founding fathers we think of said the founders, they weren't talking in the third person about themselves. They were talking about the Puritans. So I don't think there's any argument that the Puritans were Christian. I think what gets called into question is the founders. So let's look at, for example, the 56 signers of the Declaration. Right? Because that's where you find all your big names, right? Your Jeffersons, your Adams, your Franklin. And those, by the way, are the ones people like to hold up. People who have the worldview that America should not be Christian because Christianity is bad, they like to hold those three guys up because there are one-liners you can pull out of a lifetime's work of theirs and pose them in such a way as to, confirm the worldview, I guess. But really look at the big picture. Those are the only three most people know, right? I mean, there were 56 signers. 29 of them went to seminary. So were they Christian? I would say the mass majority of them were, yes, Christian, but I would think all of them, every single one, were of the mind that the Judeo-Christian ethic was the best moral set possible. And apart from maybe Thomas Paine, who wasn't a founder, you're not going to find anyone who says otherwise. That's just what it is. Like I said, you can pick stuff out of context and paste it and keep that to confirm your worldview, but I think it's kind of disingenuous. You're only lying to yourself. So why did the founding fathers believe that Christianity was so important? Well, I think it's because they read, right? Like they knew Socrates. They knew that the point being made in that writing was that democracies die because the people become greedy, because they have no external stricture. They have no external moral set, right? If you're a parent and you've got 60 kids and you've got a barrel of broccoli and a barrel of sweets, if you're a responsible parent, you're going to give them a barrel of broccoli, right? But if you give the kids the ability to vote you out of the house, now you have an incentive to give them the sweets. And the kids learn that you're going to give them the sweets because they can vote you out of the house, right? If the kids don't have that moral stricture, that, delayed gratification, objective moral standards, respect for natural truth, then you're going to have that. That's why John Adams, who most people would argue was the most deist of the founding fathers, said that this government was created for a religious and moral people and is unfit to serve any other, paraphrase, but that's what he said. He said that because he understood Socrates' message. He got it, right? So, bottom line, is America a Christian nation? I would say at this point, no. I think it was set up to be a Christian nation, or to at least be confined by Judeo-Christian ethics, right? I think the founders were pretty clear. I think John Adams himself was pretty clear about that. So now let's look at the fruit, right? We've removed God effectively from everywhere, right? If an atheist sees a cross on public property, all right, it's like a vampire in sunlight. They have to write a letter. Or a nativity set around Christmas time. Holy shit, not on public property. So we've effectively removed God from pretty much everywhere we can remove God from over the last 50, 60 years. And so how's our society doing? Apart from, slap fighting over which fucking bathroom to use, or race tensions, or national debt, or 20 years of straight war, or just generalized corruption, how are we doing? Well, we're not in Star Trek land, people, and I don't think we're gonna be. The separation of church and state argument, people, again, it's one of those things. The Supreme Court is guilty of it. They took that one phrase out of an entire letter written in private, and they based policy around that, out of context. Read the entire letter. Read what they're talking about. Now, don't get me wrong. Separation of church and state is a biblical principle. It goes back to Aaron and fucking Moses, right? This is a biblical teaching that the powers should be separated. That's true. But the First Amendment says you have freedom of religion, right? Not freedom from religion. That means you have the religious right to either believe or not believe, or believe in Buddha or Shinto or Jesus or whatever you want. It means a state can't get involved and dictate what you believe in. So believe in whatever you want. No one's trying to force you. I'm not trying to argue for a pope to run the country. It's the last thing I want. But I think the pendulum has swung so far to the other side that we believe that freedom of religion means you have the right not to see anything religious ever. Well, we've gotten to that point, and the country's not really doing well. I think that's objectively true, right? And that's the other thing you see a lot these days, objective truth being denied. You get the armchair professors saying shit like, well, there's no such thing as actual truth, right? There's your truth and there's my truth, but there's no objective truth. To which I reply, is that fucking true? You want to see someone's eyes go like a slot machine? Does it every time, right? Because it's a self-defeating statement. But people say it and they think they're smart, and they're not. So yeah, no, I don't think America's a Christian nation. I think the fruit of the tree shows that quite clearly. I think we're circling the drain, socially, economically, spiritually, you name it. And it's not surprising. So yeah, to answer the question of the day, America, probably not a Christian nation. Set up to be that way, but not, because we're people. And we like to replace what works with what sounds better, because we don't like to be judged, right? We don't want to have to live within the confines of religious dogma. We'd rather live in fantasy land. Well, enjoy it.